Hello, Trade King traders. I'm Rob Smith from Smiths in the Black at T3Live.com. Here, Trade King, to take a look at an early May look at Apple to see if Apple may blossom, if you will, in May. So let's take a look. Here's a daily chart of Apple, and obviously the big timber all falling down in here. And you can see we tried to hold the bottom of a broadening formation, then formed this down in here. Still the series of lower highs, lower lows. However, came springing back up here, and one of the things I talk about looking for is using inside bars as actionable signals, as well as hammers and shooting stars. So if we go back and take a longer term look here on the monthly, you may recall that the top in Apple came with a shooting star here, clear sell signal below that, as well as an inside bar here and down in here for the continuation moves up. So that's good. We had a hammer here. Remember, a hammer or a shooting star needs to confirm, and by that means it's got to trade above that, which it never did. Fails down into here, and now a new hammer formed in April. So if we combine that, and you look at the actionable signals, remember the weekly here. So as the weekly, we had a broadening formation in here, the inside bar break, then here, so we hit another extension of this broadening formation, lower lows. An inside bar here. This is the last time Apple had a real good shot as far as I'm concerned, because it had an inside week, and when it took that out, the monthly at that point was green. Here, that's what I like. Just in this spike here is where that occurred. It was trying to hold support of this, and the monthly at that point was green. So that was the first shot we were looking at. Now, I tend to follow the trends, but I know that when some people want to get involved in something, they're just looking for it to stop going down, and that was one indication that that might occur. However, bam, came right back in, slaughtered our all the way down into here, and so you can see once again on the weekly the series of lower highs, but now coming up to test that. Once again, going into the earnings, when we came into the lows, you saw an inside week break down, and we could time that, help to time that by looking for the inside day, which also triggered the inside week to the downside. Now as it rallied back, you could see here an inside day on the way back up, which also helped to trigger an inside week here just last week coming up. The good part about that was that although the monthly was still red when this kicked in, the monthly only had 2 days left. The first was on a Wednesday, and so at that time the monthly comes back up and forms this hammer. And so one of the things that's important to remember is time exhaustion. How much longer does a bar have to go, right? Because perception is going to change once there's a new bar. If you take a look at the 30-minute, you can see the series of broadening formations coming off the lows. A little bit further out. Oops. Here, you see these big outside bar. That's what we look for broadening formation, to see one down here. Higher highs, lower lows, comes back in, extends. Higher highs, lower lows, that matches up with that. This one matches up with the smaller one in here. And then when it comes up into here, oftentimes the point of the broadening formation will either be resistance to extend the formation back down, or a launch pad here, in this case. We look for it to be support or resistance, depending on where it starts breaking from, which was nice because at this point we had the additional signal of the inside week breaking to the upside. So at this point you can still see this downtrend, and if you look at the daily here, you can see it very clearly right here trying to come up there. But on a macro basis, what I'll be looking at over the course of this month is whether Apple is above this hammer. Just like when it was below this shooting star, I want to look for the price here to be above 445.25, and above that I will be looking for additional signals like the inside weeks and the inside days and the broadening formation position to see if this has indeed held, which it has right now, over the course of the month. And that'll give us a good idea of what's going on. Once again, we'll look to see if it breaks this support or this resistance here. If it can make a higher high off of this, And at that same time, it may have a little bit more oomph because of this hammer. Once again, you can see then this trend would give some resistance possibly up into there, but that's still a nice move. That's coming up into the upper 400s. So for this month, I'd keep an eye on that Apple hammer and the shorter term signals to try and reconfirm that. All right, everybody, I'm Rob Smith for Smith in the Black here at Trade King from T3Live.com. Hoping y'all have some good trading this week.